for the opening of the football season for the UTSA Roadrunners. They will open their 2023 season against Houston on September 2nd. Kickoff between the Roadrunners and Cougars set for 6 p.m. It is one of 3 UTSA games picked up for national television broadcast. A reminder that this is UTSA's first year in the American Athletic Conference. Houston is moving up to the Big 12. What a great matchup that's going to be. So here's the broadcast schedule. UTSA taking on Houston. That is on FS1. Their second home game against Army on September 15th, and their home contest against USF are both on ESPN. How about that? And the date has been set for the 2023 edition of the Valero Alamo Bowl. Kickoff in the Dome, set for 7:15 on Thursday, December 28th. It marks the 10th time the Alamo Bowl will pit the best teams remaining from the Big 12 and Pac-12 after college football playoff selections against each other. Spurs fans have been able to see some highlights of the French phenom Victor Wembanyama while he is still playing in the championship round out there in Europe. And it won't be long before we get to see him in silver and black. The Spurs will officially pick Wemby at the NBA draft on June 22nd. And after that, they're going to take part in the California Classic in Sacramento. It's a smaller summer league that starts July 3rd ahead of the traditional summer league in Las Vegas. Wemby is currently still playing with the Metropolitans 92 in the LNB Pro A semifinals against Asvel. Wemby's team is up 2-0, best of 5 series, and they'll look to close out that series tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. San Antonio time. In the meantime, here is a look at the Spurs Summer League schedule in Sacramento. They're going to play the Hornets on July 3rd at 7 o'clock, so that's a matchup that could feature the top 2 draft picks facing off each other. And then San Antonio is going to take on the Lakers at 7 o'clock on July 5th. The Vegas Summer League begins on July 7th. And tonight, the Denver Nuggets enter uncharted territory. The franchise hosts its first ever NBA game in the NBA Finals. They meet the Miami Heat for Game 1 in Colorado. ABC's Morgan Norwood has a preview of the matchup.
Blink. The Heat are going to the NBA Finals.
The stage for the 2023 NBA Finals is officially set. The Denver Nuggets, well rested and headed to their first finals in franchise history, taking on the Miami Heat, who blew a 3-0 series lead against the Boston Celtics, bouncing back to dominate Game 7 with a nearly 20-point victory.
People can relate to this team. Sometimes you have to suffer.
Regardless of the relatability, the win was revelatory, as Jimmy Butler predicted following their Game 7 loss to the Celtics last year that the Heat will return this year to finish the job.
We're going to be right back in the same situation, and we're going to get it done.
Well, he made good on that promise and took it one step further.
But nobody's satisfied. We haven't done anything. We don't play just to win the Eastern Conference. We play to win the whole thing.
The Denver Nuggets equally motivated, the team coming off a franchise first, sweeping the Los Angeles Lakers.
To bring home that first championship for this city, for our fans, for the Cronkies, for our players, and we know we have a hell of a fight in front of us.
Two-time MVP Nikola Jokic will look to lead his team to their first title. Miami, the last team to even make the finals as an 8th seed, looking to do the unthinkable, as no number 8 seed has ever hoisted the Larry O'Brien Championship trophy.
So many guys on our roster, they never shy away from the big moment. We love them for that. We want them to continue to be that.
This is going to be the hardest game of our life, and we know that, and we are prepared for that.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
Game 1 tips off tonight, 7:30, and you can see it live right here on KSAT12.
Go Nuggets.
Yes. Oh, yes. Sure.
All right, some popular weight loss medications may lead to some unintended benefits. It could help those dealing with addiction. Why doctors think the drugs could have an effect on several addictive behaviors.
Downtown to Market Square. Whoa, that looks like fun. I'm expecting Mike to be in that thing going around somewhere.
That's pretty.
It's just some balloons going around, a big balloon. All right, what's that all about? We'll find out later on.
Those popular weight loss medications like Ozempic aren't just helping people shed pounds they don't want. Many patients say since taking these drugs, they have lost interest in addictive behaviors. Doctors say that patients most commonly report an effect on alcohol use. It may be because these drugs, in a class known as GLP-1s, have an effect not just on the gut, but also the brain. It's something that's now being studied at the National Institutes of Health, where researchers just published a paper showing that the active ingredient in Ozempic reduced what they call binge-like alcohol drinking in rodents.
We believe that at least one of the mechanisms how these drugs reduce alcohol drinking is by reducing the rewarding effects of alcohol, such as those related to a neurotransmitter in our brain, which is dopamine. So these medications are likely to make alcohol less rewarding.
And it's not just alcohol and nicotine. Patients have even reported behaviors like nail biting and online shopping. Clinical trials in humans are needed to prove this connection, and one is set to get underway at the University of North Carolina.
A new study has identified a link between sleep apnea and smaller brain volume, and this could increase the risk of dementia. The French study found that a part of the brain connected to memory shrank in people with severe sleep disordered breathing. That can include heavy snoring and sleep apnea. The brain area the study focused on, the part of the medial temporal lobe. These areas were smaller in people with severe sleep apnea who also had a specific kind of plaque, which is a sign of Alzheimer's disease. People without plaques did not have smaller brain volume. The brain clears away much of that buildup during sleep, slow wave sleep. The U.S. Drug Administration has approved an RSV vaccine for older adults. The agency approved Pfizer's vaccine for the highly contagious respiratory virus. The virus causes flu-like illness in people of all ages, but is more common in babies and young children. But it can also be dangerous for seniors. An estimated 10,000 to 13,000 adults at least 65 years or older die each year as a result of the infection. This is the second such vaccination approved to prevent the virus. The FDA approved the world's first RSV vaccine for older adults earlier this month. Vaccines could be available for seniors as early as this fall.
One missing person found, but 3 people still missing after part of a building collapsed in Iowa. And right now their loved ones are still holding out hope. That includes Brandon Colvin Jr. He's been camped out in front of the building for days now, waiting for an update on his dad. He says if he could go inside and search for his father, he would. In the meantime, he's sleeping on the street and his life is on hold.
I haven't slept. I've been out here for 3 days, at night, all night, just waiting for anything. We have finals this week. I tried to go Tuesday to school, and as soon as I walked in, I just broke down and I was just crying. I couldn't do it. Being around all them people, my friends and stuff, just seeing me like that. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to the graduation.
The city has cited the owner of the building for failure to maintain safety. That means the owner could receive a $300 fine plus court fees. That's it. It's unclear when the building itself will be demolished.
Outside with live cam, cloudy, humid, mid-80s, and a little pop-up shower here and there. You know, I mean, I don't want to complain about the little bit of rain, but man, if you're going to rain, let's go.
Might as well. But
these little pop-ups, are they giving us much?
Not a whole lot, and they're pretty few and far between is the thing. But, I mean, everything that you just said kind of sounds like summer, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It does. June 1st, first day of meteorological summer, and it feels like it. And yes, because we've got that southeasterly flow, all of that humidity coming in from the Gulf, that's why we've managed to see a few of these pop-up showers throughout the first half of this Thursday. One of the more notable ones, again, right now, pretty limited in coverage, but it was the one that we were tracking near Clark High School a little bit ago. That's now crossed over 1604, probably rained a little bit at the rim in Fiesta, Texas. And now that's moving farther up to the north, up the I-10 corridor, headed for the Cross Mountain area. But yes, we still do have some clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. Temperatures warming pretty efficiently, though, regardless, in the mid-80s here in San Antonio, a dew point near 70. So there's that moisture that's in place. Into this afternoon, I do anticipate that the clouds we have on hand right now will continue to break up a bit more, very similar to what we saw yesterday, helping those temperatures crank up into the upper 80s and closing in on that 90-degree mark. For context, now today's high, June 1st, average high is about 91 degrees. So we're close to that out there this afternoon, and that's going to be the theme into tomorrow and even into the first half of the weekend. Along along with that, increasing but still isolated rain chances. Tomorrow, mostly dry, a stray storm possible out west tomorrow evening, which could sit on the strong side, and then a 20 to then 30% potential throughout the weekend. We'll have another full look at that, plus a drought monitor update coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. The House approved debt limit legislation. That's despite dozens of defections from hard right Republicans and progressive on the Democratic side. ABC's M. Nguyen reports all eyes now shift to the Senate, where they just have a couple of days to pass the House bill or risk a nation defaulting on its debts.
A major victory for both President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy as their bipartisan debt ceiling agreement sailed through the House with almost 100 more votes than were needed.
Yeas are 314, the nays are 117.
The legislation relied heavily on moderates in both parties, with 2/3 of House Republicans and more than 3/4 of Democrats voting in favor. The president watching the vote with his staff in a statement hailing the passage of the compromise bill as the responsibility of governing and thanking McCarthy for negotiating in good faith.
I think we did pretty dang good for the American public.
The deal allows the debt limit to be raised until January 2025 after the presidential election and rescinds billions of dollars in IRS and unused COVID-19 funding. But dozens of hardline conservative Republicans and progressive Democrats opposed the deal and voted against the bill.
I think Republicans need to own this vote. This was their deal.
It's not a victory. It's a surrender.
Those disagreements continuing in the Senate, where the bill now heads. With just 4 days until the projected June 5th deadline where the nation could run out of cash to pay its bills, some senators already declaring they're a no vote.
I'm going to vote no and I'm going to fight hard.
I cannot vote for this bill.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has already added the bill to the Senate calendar to speed up the process.
I hope that very soon we can finish the job of putting the default in our rearview mirror.
Schumer is aiming to pass this deal by today or tomorrow, but has already warned members to be prepared to stay through the weekend for votes, if necessary. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
A bear and a burglar seem to have similar tastes. The different approaches they took when trying to satisfy their sweet tooths. Come up.
Jobless claims holding steady at a low level. That's according to data released by the Department of Labor. First-time claims for unemployment insurance totaling 232,000 last week. That's almost unchanged from the week before and slightly below economists' expectations of 235,000. The number of claims are up from a year ago, but not so significantly. The steady level of weekly jobless claims continues to show that companies are reluctant to let go of workers. While the Federal Reserve has been hoping for a softening of the labor market, it continues to prove remarkably resilient.
Outside with Live Cam once again, we're talking about humidity and clouds and middle 80s. And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the days in May and now even June, we've been below the average high temperature.
We've had the recent rounds of rain, which, yes, have really helped out and kept our temperatures at bay just a little bit more. So that is the good news. Today, though, it is going to be pretty close to average as we head into the afternoon. In fact, this morning, we were just 1 degree above it. We had an official low of 72, so pretty seasonable for this time of year. At 85 right now, I think it's possible we hit 90 this afternoon. We'll have to keep eyes on the thermometer over at the airport pretty closely. But yes, more of the same into tomorrow, and then more isolated storm chances return. That plus the drought monitor update and a look at the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, which starts today after the break. Well, minus a couple of isolated pop-up showers that we found in and around the San Antonio area today. Into this afternoon, we're going to be pretty quiet out there, and that's all thanks to an area of high pressure that continues to control our weather pattern. You can see it's a little bit of a different story up across the Texas Panhandle, a little complex of rain and storms pushing eastward. There's a low pressure system off to our west, and then another one farther off to our east. We're kind of sandwiched in between the two. I do want to briefly focus focus, though, on this low pressure system over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center is actually monitoring this disturbance pretty closely. And as of the new update we just got in from the NHC, they actually have tagged this as a 70% potential to find this develop into something tropical over the next couple of days. Now, right off the bat, this is not going to affect us here in Texas. And regardless on if it does officially develop or not, it still is expected to bring some heavy rain to portions of Florida. So we'll keep eyes on it for our friends and family out that way. But of course, this just does go to show that June 1st today is the official start of the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. We have more on that up at KSAT12 on our Whatever the Weather page as we speak. Now back here at home, yes, a couple of isolated showers, but other than that, it's just hot and humid. 85 here in town, 84 in Converse, some 70s though on the west side of Bexar County. That's all thanks to some of that rain-cold air from a few passing showers. 83 in Bulverde, current temperature is 82 up I-10 in Kerrville. And the clouds that we do have in place right now, they look to break up just a little bit more as we head into the afternoon, helping those temperatures climb into the upper 80s, closing in on that 90-degree mark here in San Antonio by 4 to 5 o'clock. And then later on this evening, we'll see those temperatures fall into the low 80s by to shortly after the sun goes down. All right, looking ahead to tomorrow, starting off muggy and pretty seasonable yet again, near 70 degrees, daytime highs reaching for about 90, expecting most of the day to sit on the drier side. But tomorrow evening, by to just after dinner time, an isolated strong storm will be possible across our far western counties. And then as we head into Saturday and Sunday, a couple of isolated rain and storm chances continue. Speaking of the rain, check this out. For the month of May, 3.92 inches of rain, what we officially found here in San Antonio. So a little bit below average, but over 3 inches more than what 2022 May of last year actually brought us. So that is the good news. And we continue to see improvements in our drought monitor. This is last week. I want you to pay attention to this little pocket of severe drought across our southwestern counties. As we fade on this week's drought monitor, doing a little bit better. That has been faded off and trimmed out. Also saw some of that moderate drought trimmed out of our far western counties, but we do have some work to do, especially across portions of the hill country. So dry over the next couple of days for the most part, but we'll see what those isolated rain and storm chances can do this weekend, and especially as we head into next week as well, guys.
Thank you, Mia. It's bear versus man and a pair of cupcake crimes. But only one of them was able to get away with stealing dozens of those sweet treats. At Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and Denver Nuggets tonight, and no matter which team loses, you could still be a winner by getting free food.
Well, you can't go wrong with that. Chipotle giving away burritos for every three-pointer a player makes in the finals. They call it a three-pointer. Here's how it works. When a player makes a three-point shot, Chipotle will tweet out a code.
Ooh, the first 300 people who text that code to 888-222 will get a free entree from Chipotle. The restaurant says it's going to give away up to 10,500 burritos per game.
All right, twin cupcake crime capers in neighboring countries, leaving two bakeries right now scratching their heads.
The first committed by a bear in New England, the second a conscientious crook in Canada.
CNN's Jeannie Mose has more on some sweet scandals.
What does this Connecticut bear have in common with a half-baked burglar at a bakery in Vancouver? A sweet tooth for cupcakes. The guy was caught on surveillance cam kicking in the door of a bakery called Sweet Something.
You know, it is a very Canadian break-in. He was really respectful.
He toured the store, used the restroom, sat down for a rest, and then got a mop and a bucket and tried to clean up the mess he made, breaking the glass.
How was he as a mopper?
You know, he didn't do the best job. You can give him like an A for effort.
This bear in Avon, Connecticut likewise gets an A for effort. She entered the garage at a bakery called Taste by Spellbound while a van inside was being loaded with goodies.
How were you first alerted to the bear?
by one of my employees making noises that I've never heard her make before.
Owner Miriam Stevens and one of her employees did an end run around the building to see if the bear was gone, then turned tail at the sight of her. The bear dragged a container outside loaded with 60 cupcakes.
I honestly think she ate the paper along with the cupcake. I think she's just snarfing it down.
60 cupcakes for the bear. 6 chocolate champagne cupcakes were taken by the guy in Vancouver. He also used the store's cell phone to take several selfies wearing orange sunglasses.
Are you going to press charges against the guy?
We've asked the police not to. Do they really care about the 6 cupcake thief? Like, we're not upset about it.
And nothing upset the bear until an employee drove towards her honking the horn. The bear was later caught in a barrel trap, then released a distance away. Both bakeries capitalized on the capers by selling cupcakes decorated with orange sunglasses and bears. Ginny Mose, CNN, New York.
Marketing. It's all about the marketing.
All those cupcakes were bearable to eat.
Probably better than bearable.
They look good, dude.
I know one guy.
Well, okay, now let's answer this question.
Yeah. All right, we knew someone was going to get in the balloon.
Is he in or is he on the other side?
Are you on the other side?
I'm on the other side right now. I'm going to be getting in here, but have you ever seen this? It is this giant bubble filled with balloons. What could be more fun than that? These kids are having a great time. We're going to check this out, and the lady behind it all is Jessica Schultz. And
Hi.
What is this thing?
Yeah, so this is our balloon bubble dome. It's filled with 100 balloons. It's literally a party and a bubble. What kid doesn't love balloons? It's great for adults as well. So this is just the most fun time that you could possibly ever have.
It's just fun just because.
Just because, yeah, and it's great for any event.
And I assume if you're in there, you don't want your hair flipping around. I wouldn't have that problem. But the lady with all the answers, Shannon Hill. And what is that device? We've seen it before.
So this is a ponyo. It is comfortable, non-damaging, all of the things that you would want in a hair accessory.
And it goes from balloon ball to pool to evening.
Gala, yep.
All
Any
right.
red carpet events.
I'll tell you all about that. Easy for dads to use, too. All right, Fiona has gone back to the Jurassic period. Well, maybe she hasn't. I don't see Fiona, but I see Jen, and she's got an extremely large concha right there. And I'll tell you what, we are going to be talking about. Look at that thing. That thing is bigger than she is. Yes, and we are also going to be trying some sushi, but this is not any ordinary sushi. It is a little bit of Mexican-inspired sushi. We're going to taste that and what makes you feel like a kid, besides being in a big bubble with balloons. That and more coming up.